Alright, looks like Prez is the first one off here, but I'm going to just delay his stream a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. That's the thing with hitboxes. You're going to be seeing Prez a lot sooner than we're going to be seeing Acmlm.
Not now, though, because we're all synced up on my end, but you guys will have to adjust. And right now, they're in the cave.
Alright, let me know when he grabs the jar.
No. Fine. And Prez, ACM.
Alright, I think pretty much synced up then. Alright! Welcome everyone to the Zelda 2 tournament. This is, we're down in the, I would just call it the losers bracket, but officially it is the bonus bracket.
The bonus bracket.
This is a sort of a weird one, right? Because ACM's opponent had some health issues and was unable to make his race, so he sort of defaulted and we moved on without him. But then when we found out what happened, we decided to let him race, basically. And
yeah,
that race is sort of coming out of that.
Yeah, it's pretty much exactly what happened. So the round 2 in the bonus bracket was supposed to be ACLM, and I forget who it was against. There was some communication issues and health issues. Neither one of them got back to any of the tournament organizers, so they just both defaulted out of the tournament. Then when news came to pass of what actually happened, Prez, who was ACM's scheduled opponent in the bonus bracket round 3, offered up the race here just to say, hey, yeah, we didn't know what happened. Sorry, here's the race if you want it. So that's where this comes from. And the other thing to take note of here is you're going to see two extremely different routes here throughout the game. ACM is going to take the route we normally see, where you're going to stop, you're going to try to get the P-Bag, you're going to go to Palace 1 first, get the candle, get the hammer, the whole 9 yards. Prez, however, takes a completely different route because apparently he doesn't like doing things where he can see things. He is instead going to go through and do Death Mountain in the dark.
That's right. It's a very unique thing that he does. It's kind of hands down slower and harder. There's not really any debate about that. The issue is that Prez just ingrained how to do that into his head, that when it came to sort of do this other category where you do it in the light and you do these other things first, it was fighting so hard against his muscle memory, he decided that he would rather just go with it. Just let his muscle memory take over and do the slower and harder thing. So that's what's worked out best for him so far, and we're gonna see how it works out in this match. It is 1-1-1 here.
Yep. The other reason that Prez has quoted that he likes to do Dark Death Mountain is because it takes a lot of the innate randomness out of leaving Palace 1 with Attack 4. By doing Death Mountain first, he just gets all the experience there and doesn't worry about having to get the random chance of 200 P-Bag drops.
Yep.
Allegedly.
That's the reasoning behind it. I think it's pretty interesting. We don't see anybody else doing Dark Death Mountain first, even though, you know, it's not so much slower. I think it is a little bit slower, but it's not like you couldn't win a race doing it. So yeah, let's see if he executes it well. If he does, then props to him for doing things differently.
Yeah, and Prez will fully admit that he has struggles when it comes to doing races. He was even talking earlier today during the initial restreams in the first couple of races today that when it comes to races, he doesn't put in the practice needed to do things like this. So he was predicting there's a very good chance if this race happens that he could very well lose.
So I guess the eyes are... Keep your eyes peeled on Acmlm, because he's hoping for 200 P-Bag drops here in the Palace. He missed the manipulation for the 50 bag drop, which means if he wants to get out of Palace 1 with 4 attack, he needs to get both chances at this 50-50 drop, 25% chance that it happens, and otherwise he's going to have to make do with attack 3.
That's right, yeah, neither player got the 50 bag. I don't think Prez was going for it, though, because Prez's experience total shows that he didn't even kill all the enemies in that cave. So
right.
I think he probably was not even trying to get the 50 bag. because you don't need it. That's the advantage. That is the one advantage to doing Death Mountain first.
Yeah, so Prez is going to be stopping to pick up a bunch of the stuff early that we're going to see ACM pick up a little bit later. So it's going to be a little bit. The synchronization isn't going to come to a bit later on watching these two run. For a Zelda 1 analogy, this is similar to watching somebody do a 2 first route and a 3 first route, where they take completely different paths to get there, but near the end of the game, in Zelda 1, in case it's level 7, that's when you'll see the runners sync up. So I forget exactly where this route syncs them up, but it's going to be a little while before we see them in the same area.
Pretty much Palace 2, I guess.
Maybe. Like I said, I don't know the timing on how long Dark Death Mountain takes at Attack 1 or Attack 2 or whatever Prez is going to be going through it as.
Well, he's starting it with 1 here. Taking his time, 3 hits to kill a bot. 3, 4, 5, 6 to kill a moblin.
Yeah, that moblin takes a lot of hits at Attack 1. It'll be 3 if you use Attack 4. No, 2 if you use Attack 4. 3 if you use Attack 3. So when we see ACM get here, he's going to deal with that room a lot faster. Almost all the enemies in here are going to take more hits. Particularly the large enemies are going to take a lot more hits. So that's going to be a bit slower.
Yep, and the other thing just to point out, Fiesel was mentioning muscle memory earlier. Or I forget where Mythical. One of you two was mentioning muscle memory. Wow, it's been a long day already.
Yeah.
But the other thing to note is that it is muscle memory, but it's also looking at your screen and utilizing what it gives you. Now, the orange enemies are going to appear in the dark no matter what, but not all of the room is dark. If you take a look at the bottom where the ground is, you can actually see the movement of the enemies of their feet. So that's another way to take a look at what's actually happening and what enemies are where in the dark areas.
ACM doing a good job of dodging a bot's movement at the last second, not taking a hit and maintaining his beam sword, which he could use to help him with the bubbles in this room, and there it is.
Helped a little bit there.
Yep.
Let's see what kind of drop he gets. It's a red jar, guys. Christmas is canceled. He needed to get a 200 bag there and a 200 bag off the next one, and he's already not gotten that. So this guy's getting an attack 3 out of this palace. He's already got life 2, so nothing really to lose at this point.
Yeah, I think basically Prez is going to have an advantage in Palace 2 for a little bit until they both get caught up on experience.
Yeah, ACM's going to be set back a little bit because when he does Death Mountain, he'll be at a lower attack level. But, I mean, Prez is at an even lower attack level.
More than 1, right, yeah. So it's hard. It's really hard to say.
Right.
And right here, there's going to be another drop, but it does not matter whatsoever what this is. It's a 200 bag just to poke fun at, or to add insult to injury. He gets the drop that he wanted, even now that it can no longer help him. He will get attack 3 from Horsehead here, and then he'll get a bit of a experience bonus, but he won't spend it on anything. I think he'll keep it to make his Death Mountain a little bit quicker. Horsehead taking 11 hits instead of 8. Nope, Horsehead probably took, an 11 instead of 8 because he was only attack 2. Yep. Which means an extra cycle of pushing him off the screen.
8 hits to kill that Dyra, so Prez has to back way up and give himself enough room to fight him.
Alright, you see him coming out here. Man, this... I don't know. I like the encounter manipulation where you just go straight down after coming out of that palace and then go left and do a dodge. The staircase pattern I find to be less effective.
This is cute. They're both at 312 right now.
It really is adorable.
Prez once again having to wait a little bit to delay. ACM. I'm not sure why he's even off the path at all.
Trophy cave. I believe there was.
Oh no, he didn't do this because he
Yes.
went for the. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
He didn't do this. My bad.
You know, Prez was the early trophy cave.
Yeah,
And that's
Prez already
because
did it.
that's because he has to for the way he's doing his run. Speaking of which, Prez is currently picking up the hammer item in Dark Death Mountain. What the hammer is going to allow us to do, I say us like I'm running it, to allow us to smash boulders on the overworld. In addition to that, it's also going to let us cut down trees because, you know, we have to use multi-tools nowadays.
Yeah, that's right. You hit a button, and the blade just kind of flips out on the other end. I mean, he is knocking down pretty much a whole chunk of a forest, really. I picture him more like just going Odin's son on the ground and a shockwave blowing all the trees apart.
So what you're saying is the hammer we get is Mjolnir?
Mjolnir itself, waiting there in Death Mountain, which Prez has, by the way. He successfully navigated Death Mountain in the dark. Very impressive for people who've never seen it, and it's always fun to see a clean execution too, even if you have seen it before. So that's nice, and he's through the hard stuff here. He's going to be able to start reaping the benefits of his decision by heading into Palace 1 with much more attack than usual.
Yeah, also he only has 4 boxes of health instead of 5 because he didn't get the Palace 1 heart container yet. That makes Death Mountain even that much harder. So, nice job getting through it without an accidental death.
Yep, so
Go ahead.
It would be awesome if his internet dropped out right as you said go ahead.
Right.
No, I'm still here. I was also
Okay.
saying go ahead at the same time.
That's fine. I don't have anything. It's good. It's fine.
No, I was just pointing out that ACM had just picked up the jump spell and was making his way through Jump Cave, the dark version of which we saw Prez go through earlier. It's much easier for us as commentators to tell you what's going on with the candle item, though, because we can see everything.
That's right. Feasel knows. Feasel has some experience with Death Mountain in the dark. But
I know, but those boomerang throwers, those Gorias there, yeah, I don't know. These Gorias, they in the dark, they're really hard enemies to fight. I actually think the Dairas are much easier. Pretty much any enemy is easier than those Gorias in the dark, and that's the first thing that you face in Jump Cave is a Goria and then another Goria. So
because
it's
of
pretty brutal.
the random element, right? Like a Daira is always going to start swinging at the same time, but the
Pretty
boomerangs can be high, low, and
Right, and the red Dairas, they also have some randomness to them, but if you make the first, your initial hit, you jump and approach them by doing a crouching slash in the air, and that first hit, as long as you time it right, you can light the guy up and see where he is in his cycle, and then dodge the rest of his axes, even for a red Daira. So those are not too bad in the dark. See Prez right here, once he gets the first hit in, you light him up and see where his cycle is. No problem. But the boomerang guy is much trickier to deal with.
Yep, and the item that Prez was lighting up that Daira to acquire there was the medicine. That item is required in the harbor town of Mito to get the fairy spell. You'll be seeing ACM pick up that a little bit later. Currently what he was grabbing, though, was a mirror that was lost underneath the table. By returning the mirror to this lovely citizen of the river town of Saria, you get access to the life spell, which Prez already has.
Prez getting that one up coming out of the cave. Should be able to get to the grass before monsters spawn, and now can he finish this out? He gets a path encounter, that's fine. Could have done that without a path encounter, it is possible, but nice safe strat to just take an encounter on the path there. Unlike in my race today, where I thought I would get fancy and ended up getting a forest encounter at that spot.
it's always fun when you cast a race after just doing one yourself. Right. It just colors in every little thing is going to be through that lens now of what happened to you just an hour ago.
Yeah, look at these guys doing the thing that I didn't get right in my life.
Right. Speaking of which, did you happen to see that in the race, Simple got the eco key?
I did. I saw that. Pretty amazing. I'm glad to see that new strat got put into practice right away. ACM coming on the left side of that door there when he came out of the door to the river guard. He was on the left of the door instead of the right of the door. That's a really subtle trick. It has to do with delaying just a few frames before entering the door instead of entering on the first possible frame, and it puts you a whole tile further left when you come out of that door. Just like a really small thing that shows that you really understand the mechanics of the game.
That's right. ACM, I think of him as more of a tasser than a speedrunner.
Same, although I've seen him do great things on some games in
Sure.
real time, so...
Yes, for sure. But I think he kind of cut his teeth on tool-assisted speedruns, so he strikes me as the kind of person who would kind of do their homework, right? He would be more of a student of the game.
Sure. Caring about the little details like that. Well, we saw ACM killing that blue Gorilla there. That's often skipped because it's so easy to skip, and only worth 30 experience, not one of the most lucrative enemies in here. But ACM needs every bit of experience he can get. Notice that the orange Dyra didn't spawn there. ACM just walked out of that room without an orange Dyra encounter, and that's because he left too much stuff alive. You can only have 5 things on the screen, and that includes jars that might drop, jars and pea bags. So you've got to kill at least one of those bats or bots at the beginning of that room if you want to make sure to get that orange Dyra to spawn.
Just that much more experience he has to make up in here and on the way to Palace 2.
Yep, he just lost 70 experience, and his 6 count is going to be in a different spot than he was originally expecting.
It takes a pretty skilled player to I think, start adjusting for the 6 count once that gets off kilter. Those drops, you have to really make your decisions quickly, and if they catch you by surprise, then you're likely to flounder when it drops, and left, right, do I get it, do I don't get it, oh no.
Yeah, you really want to be sure that you're nice and consistent about where you get your experience so that you won't be taken by surprise when the level up prompt happens. Alright, well, ACM's about to get it. Oh, no, it's not that one. See, he went and slashed for it, but that's not where the drop's going to be anymore, because that other thing despawned. So he gets a red jar from the next one. That's not good. He wanted the 200 bag. Prez, meanwhile, making his way out of here. He kills the orange Goria before picking up that heart container because he doesn't want to get hit by a boomerang. Ooh, we're going to see something... Oh, I thought we were going to see something cool on Prez's stream. He was going to go for a reverse bubble skip. He was setting it
much
up.
harder than the regular bubble skip. Most players, even the top level players, don't go for it. Despite it being somewhat, relatively early in the run. It is after the P-bag manipulation, so it is nice to get a run out of the first 30 seconds of the game. You probably don't want to throw it away and, the 2-minute mark or whatever, but
Oh, I can't
I won't be
believe all this
surprised.
stuff. Sorry, I just realized something really dumb that I've been doing here. Fortunately, Prez is going into Palace 1, so I can let Palace 1 get some use.
Oh, 50 bag drop.
Have
for
you been on the
ACM.
Palace 7 background the whole time?
No, I haven't. If you
He
count the
said
10
with
seconds that we
such
haven't been on the
authority.
Palace 7 background.
Oh, quality technical work from your friends here at Speed Gaming.
That's right. High standard of quality here.
Yep. Yeah, they'll give anyone a sub button now, won't they?
Ouch.
Background change button is what we need.
SGL background change, first emote.
Well, ACM gets a drop in a place he wasn't quite expecting, turns back for it, then realizes, no, wait, I can get that on the way back.
way back,
Just keep
that's
going.
Yep.
Yeah, this is the one spot where you won't see anybody casting fairy to pick up the item.
Well, not that they actually have fairy at that point, but...
Well, yeah, that's the reason why. There's a few things that you can't pick up fairy for, or use to pick up with fairy, but the medicine, the hammer, and the trophy are, I think, the only ones. Although technically you can do the trophy skip, or the jump skip. Even though no one is crazy enough to do that in runs yet.
Oh, Mungo Meat, I know you're kidding, but that's borderline it's a little weird. Tricking people into subscribing.
Oh. Meanwhile, as you can see, Prez is at 221 or now 271 of 2,000 experience. That is going to be good because the end of palace bonuses that we get for placing the gem into the shrines at the end of the palace. You're going to see them try to manipulate that as well as they can. ACM didn't really get that because he didn't get the 200 bag drops he needed. Prez doing Dark Death Mountain before going to Palace 1 already has Attack 4, so it's going to make going through Palace 1 that much faster, and by needing to get to 2,000 before going to the end of it, he's going to be able to be at Attack 5, leaving Palace 1.
I wonder if Prez could have got away with Magic 2 or Life 3 here.
Easily.
Yeah, I agree. He's already at 273, and he's past his... I mean, he can't do it now. He's past his opportunity to take those, because I don't think he's not going to make up 1,700 experience in this palace.
Lets the P-Bag go. Don't need it.
Nope.
ACM gets the graveyard one up. Here we go. This is something we haven't seen in these races yet. We have not seen anybody ferry to pick up the candle. It is a pretty rare thing to see this. None of the categories, well, I guess in 100%, in regular 100%, you still don't do Dark Death Mountain in regular 100%, do you?
You would know.
I've never run regular 100%, but I think you don't. So yeah, picking up the candle with fairy is something that you may not ever see again. So there you go.
Never, ever.
It may be.
It's a speed gaming exclusive here.
Yeah.
We're not even going to highlight that. It's just lost to the ages.
You're going to highlight the run, so...
Yeah.
I was thinking about maybe not doing that. It's probably not the way to go. So tearing through Palace 1 here with Attack 4 is PresJPolk. I can't wait to see how fast Horsehead goes down.
Look at him skipping these skeletons. Horsehead, yeah, that'll be a fun fight.
Yeah. The other thing to note is, as you saw, Prez does have the down stab already, which also makes skipping over those Stalfos pretty easy.
That's right, and Horsehead with down stab is a fun fight.
Yup.
You can absolutely wreck him. I think it's 4 hits to kill him.
Here we go.
Oh no, it's gotta be more than that.
Oh, bit of a botch on execution there.
6 hits.
6 hits. Oh, that's not as awesome as I thought.
Not as awesome as I thought. Yeah, if he's attack 5, you can get him in 4 hits or something. But yeah, that's not too bad. Horsehead down. ACM is now heading over to Fairy Town. He's going to pick up the down stab and the fairy spell.
We're gonna get pretty much synced up here soon. We'll find out which of these guys is truly ahead.
Yep, they're not quite synced up yet, but pretty soon. So this category is 100% all keys 1cc. 100% means you've got to collect all dungeon items, all regular items, basically all the items, all the spells, all the heart containers and all the magic containers, and both of the sword techniques, up thrust and down thrust. The only thing that you don't need to do is get full level ups. You don't have to get 888. You can just get whatever you want for the level ups. So earning experience is not part of the 100% definition. All keys means that you need to collect a key for every door in the game. There are some cases where you can do some weird stuff and skip a door, but you at least have to have the key for it if you're going to do that. The idea is to force players to play all the parts of all the dungeons. So really do everything that the game has to offer inside the dungeons, inside the palaces. And 1cc is the requirement that you cannot use death warps to your... Or no, you can't use game over warps to your advantage. You can't use intentional game over to warp back to the beginning of the game, which would normally be a big time savings if you could do that. So if one of these guys game overs, they're going to have to go back to the spot where they game overed, and that's to prevent people from pretending to get an accidental game over, but really getting it in a spot that's advantageous. Keeps everyone honest.
Kind of shady behavior. We definitely don't expect anyone, but it's good to have rules in place for this sort of thing. And the term 1cc stands for 1 credit clear, which is an old arcade term for those of you who are maybe not old enough to remember what an arcade is.
They have arcades now. They're just all
Japan,
like VR type games with lots of apparatus instead of regular controls. Because otherwise, why would you bother?
True, but I can still remember going to an arcade and putting my quarter up next and saying I got next to make sure you claimed the machine you wanted.
So here we go. It looks like Prez is indeed a little bit ahead here, coming out of the Heart Container Cave while ACM is on his way in.
Yep, so now we know who's ahead. Looks like Prez managed to pull ahead here. Let's see how he does in the swamp. It's not too far apart, though. These guys are, I'm going to say 40 seconds separating them, so not huge.
Also, ACM is kind of behind on experience. Like, of course, he's behind Prez, who got the Palace bonus with in a better place that has allowed him to get Attack 5 before even getting into Palace 2. But ACM, I think, wants to be more at like 1200 here.
Yeah, what you're looking to do in Palace 2, the Swamp Palace, is you want to have Attack 5 somewhere by the middle of it, so you can make sure that you get up to what you're going to need, in this case 150, so you can get to the Palace bonus to get to Attack 6 when you're leaving Palace 2 here.
Mongo, to answer your question, we haven't had any cases where something looked like it may have been an intentional game over and there was any kind of dispute about it, and that's just because we have this rule in place. It's pretty unambiguous. You don't have to make any kind of judgment call. We do see people have game overs, though. We've had a lot of game overs in these races. It does happen, but...
Oh yeah, Zelda 2 is a sort of a volatile game here that can blow up in your face pretty easily.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've seen races that had no business being close become ridiculously close due to unfortunate game overs.
Yeah, and some big upsets. Definitely some upsets.
Mm-hmm.
It's exciting because, even if one person is really far ahead, you think, all they gotta do is die one too many times, and then suddenly it's someone else's race. So, yeah, it means that anything can happen.
Yeah, but neither of these players has had an unintentional death yet, so game over not looking too likely here. Jinx, but it's they're apart far enough that a game over is not necessarily what it's going to take for ACM to get back into this game. He is only about 42 seconds behind, and that's going to widen a little bit here as Prez goes through Palace 2 with Attack 5 here. But that can be made up. You can lose and gain a lot of time manipulating overworld encounters. For one, that's huge. And there's all kinds of little things you can do, of course, throughout the run. So it's not going to come down to a game over, I think.
Yep, you're right. It definitely doesn't need to be a game over for ACM to catch up to Prez. I'm thinking of the walk from Maze Island over to Reflect Town.
Yep.
Right there, if one person if Prez gets like 4 encounters and ACM gets none, then right there we're almost back together again. So it's it could happen. Lots of places where this could swing.
Absolutely.
One death, like right before exiting a room, so you have to go all the way back to the other side of the room. That could eat up the majority of the lead that Prez has. Lots of things.
Also, you saw Prez there casting Fairy immediately after grabbing the key. That's just because it's not only faster to fly through that room with Fairy, but it's also much, much safer, because anytime you have a room involving bots and lava, it's never a good thing, because bots are completely random in their movement. You really don't know what they're going to do. They could slither down at you, they could jump at you, they could jump twice, and 9 out of 10 times when you see someone get knocked into the lava, it's because a bot did it.
Yeah, the little dropper in the ceiling can be a problem if you try to get around the bots by casting Jump. That puts you in a bad spot with the dropper. And combined, they've taken their fair share of lives here in the tournament.
Yeah, the nice thing about the dropper, though, is if you get hit by that, you're going to get bounced back to the right, so you'll probably be safe. So if someone falls in the lava, it's probably a bot's fault. Except in my race earlier today, where I just fell into the lava again. Unprovoked.
Yep. We actually all get to see that one.
Good stuff. Well,
yeah, we kind of showed up right around that point.
Just in time for that, huh? Cool. Well, ACM had a great block room there. Sometimes people get terrible RNG there, and you don't have the glove yet, so you can't dig your way out if you happen to get a really bad block pattern. But he didn't have to stop at all, so good on him. At Magic 1, I'm not sure that he could have cast Fairy for that glove. I think that he may be not enough. I guess he didn't make a mistake there or anything.
You know, Prez has got the experience he needs for this palace, so he's just skipping over everything. And he's taken a couple hits from these Iron Knuckles in the process, but overall he is going to be pulling further and further ahead.
So it's going to be interesting that, as you mentioned, Prez having all the experience he needs. Meanwhile, ACM still is in desperate need of a lot of experience here. He should be able to get everything he needs, but it's going to be cutting it close.
Good. He got a 200 bag there, so that's really good for him.
There we go.
Prez also got a 200 bag, and he wasn't even trying to get it, so the game's just dumping experience on him.
Yep, caught him off guard a little bit. All these level ups all of a sudden that he had to cancel through.
Yeah. And he's already at 400 out of 3,000, so he is plenty set on experience. He's got more than he needs.
So Prez making his way to the end of Palace 2 here, where we will be seeing the second boss of the Palace here, the second boss of the game. It's a boss by the name of Helmet Head. Named so because you have to, 1, attack its head, and 2, it's wearing 2 helmets before you get to see the 8-bit version of Howie Mandel.
Should call him Helmet's Head, plural.
It should be, you're right.
We'll make a note about that.
Well, no, then that spoils it, though. This whole thing is like, oh my god, he's got a second helmet. It's ridiculous.
Extra helmet head.
No one ever suspects the second helmet.
That's that's not something I would put on a bumper sticker.
No, you don't. I was thinking maybe I'm trying new things for, we made partner, right? So I want to get us out there, and I was trying to come up with some catchphrases. But
some catchphrases. We do need a catchphrase.
I'll go back to the drawing board then.
Well, so Prez has about an average fight against Helmet Head there, but he managed to survive it. He's moving on. Already got some swamp encounters. That is what ACM wants. He wants to see Prez get as many encounters here in the swamp as possible.
Yeah, there's really not a good solid way of getting through this swamp after Palace 2. Players have come up with a lot of ways to manipulate monsters in various sections of the game, but the swamp, oof.
ACM almost had that fight closed out, and then he just ends up
getting sniped.
Getting sniped there right at the end.
Silver lining is that he is okay on experience now for sure, and is going to get his attack 6 coming out of Palace 2. But yeah, some things didn't go Prez's way there and opened the door to start making up some of this time. So that's the kind of thing you need to nail those opportunities when they come. So not great from ACM here, but let's see what kind of swamp he gets. Ooh, he gets greedy there.
Gets a path encounter at least. He manages to double back just in time. Almost soft locking. See him turn around at the last minute. He's got the presence of mind to avoid that. It is a skill. Avoiding soft locking is a skill. Waits on the path for an encounter. Takes a little bit of time to get there, but he does get another path encounter. So he should probably be encounter free for the rest of this. Oh, he's got a path encounter again. Yeah, I'm not sure where his graveyard encounter is going to be. He might end up just taking one from the boulder here, and now he should be set all the way to Palace 3.
Here he goes. Oh.
That's good.
And he's set. Meanwhile, Prez is already making his way through a whole bunch of Palace 3 here.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Palace 3, the Island Palace. You got to get those name shout-outs in.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're paying us to promote those palaces, so thank you very much for reminding us.
I'm pretty sure that me saying the name the full way like that, too, is also my subtle way of saying, hey, Feasel, change the background.
Oh,
well, yeah, there is that.
I was on it.
Prez is low on life here. and it looks like he passes up. I guess was that Magic 3 or Life 4 he passed up on just then?
Had to have been Magic 3.
Magic
I think.
3.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I definitely would have thought he would take Life 4 in that situation if he could. Instead, he's going to save, needs 35 more experience, and then he can get himself out of this sticky situation. He has the magic for the life spell, and I feel like he doesn't need that for something right now. Well, he's fine anyway.
Well, he takes life 4. I mean, the only thing he would use the magic for is to cast Fairy. But you know what? He could have done that and then taken magic 3 and then cast Fairy, and he doesn't need any magic after that, so he would have been okay. I'm personally not a fan of life 4 in this palace, but I see a lot of people going for it, so I'm going to assume that it's not crazy.
Well, he is working with more experience than usual, too.
Yeah, I guess.
We'll see how it all shakes out. Both
ACM
players are
fight.
now working their way through Palace 3.
Yeah, I was worried there for a moment, but yeah, ACM's fighting that Doomknocker, I guess, because he's concerned about experience. Honestly, though, I don't think that he's in any kind of experience crunch. He's already Magic 2 Life 3 with 56 extra, and he only killed that one extra Doomknocker, so I don't know.
Yeah, pretty much once you get out of Palace 2 with Attack 6, you're kind of back on track. You don't really... You said you're not really in that crunch for experience.
Yeah, I think he's going to be fine on XP, even if he doesn't kill those optional things. Prez, meanwhile, making his way back through this room, a very dangerous room, but he's executing very well. Prez having a good run today.
Yeah, maybe all that time he spent on commentary trolling everybody else got him all motivated to make sure we didn't troll him.
I guess you are a little more aware of the what people will be watching and what people might be saying. Normally
Right.
that would have the adverse effect. You get a little nervous, but maybe Prez is the kind of player that kind of lights a fire for him there.
ACM's being very cautious. I've noticed some real cautious
Yeah.
play from him. I guess that makes sense. He does have an accidental death. And he's... I mean, now at the point, especially given that Prez is playing pretty well, ACM, I think, is at the point where he may have to rely on a game over. But, a couple of poorly timed deaths from Prez, even without a game over, could still change the lead here. So it's not too far away from each other.
Nope, not at all. Now, meanwhile, for those who may have been watching the earlier streams, no, I am not going to rehash the song from earlier.
Yes, please. Thank you for that.
See, I like you guys. I'm not going to do that to you guys.
Oh, thanks.
Oh,
But this
Friends
is Rebanak.
don't let friends sing My Little Pony.
No, but this is Rebanak, the boss of Palace 3. He is just a blue iron knuckle riding in on a horse. It's the name for Rebanak, actually, the Japanese translation translates into Rebel Knuckle, a reference to the fact that in Japan, motorcycle riders are referred to as rebels.
Well,
Prez
Prez just goes without saying, doesn't it?
I guess so.
Motorcycle rebel. Come on.
Well, that does explain their fascination with biker guys in the Pokemon games.
Oh yeah, they're their own enemy type, aren't they?
They are, yes.
Just hang out on the road, on route number that I can't remember.
Cycling road.
Sure,
No one knows the number, it's just cycling road.
it probably has a number.
It does, and someone
You
in
know
chat
what's not
probably-
important? Pokemon route numbers. What is important is that Prez is out of Palace 3 here, and it's looking like his lead has grown to, I'm going to say a minute and a half.
Probably. Especially
Probably about
because that Doomknocker is giving ACM all kinds of trouble.
Yeah, and he already backtracked to pick up that P-bag that was up there on top of those blocks. So he's clearly worried about his experience, although Oh, because he's planning on taking Life 4. I was going to say, why did he bother to go with that P-bag? Why was he killing the Doomknocker? And it's
That
because
makes
he's a
sense.
Life 4 guy.
That's right. Not comfortable moving forward with, sort of off schedule, off the experience chart. Not you need to be flexible in a way that can be really tough, especially in a race setting. So some players they have the script and they stick to it. So script says get life 4, and that's what he's gonna do. He's gonna need a lot of help on this Rebenak fight, though.
Ooh.
Not gonna get it.
Nope. And speaking of script, my script says we're in Naburu, which means I get to rant about that lazy lady who lives 20 feet away from a water fountain and has to have somebody else get her water for you so you can get the most useless spell in the game. Okay, I'm off. I'm back on script.
One breath. There you go.
Yep.
You're getting better at it. Much cleaner Rebenak fight there on round 2.
It was essentially the same Rebenak fight, he just didn't get killed in the process. And
Yeah.
I'm going to say that I think he was standing a little bit too far to the right. He probably wanted to be about maybe 4 pixels farther left than that. Because he was not getting that Rebenak against the left side of the screen where you can bounce off him, and I think that's why he ended up having the Rebenak get away from him both times. I think that's a systematic problem there. He probably needs to adjust his positioning on that the first place where he stands.
He's having some trouble in this desert encounter. His beam swords keep coming out the wrong way, turning just a little bit too soon. So there's some pretty major encounter manipulations coming up for Prez here. Trekking back and forth across this forest is really tough. Monsters spawn right next to you when you're in a forest, so you need to either find ways to stretch your walks from outside of the forest to the other side, or you need to be ready with some pause buffer slink shenanigans that are pretty tough. Even when you're good at it, it's far from a guarantee. So this is an opportunity here for Prez to lose some time and maybe for Acmlm to make up some time.
And meanwhile, Prez is making the first run through Maze Island here. He's stopping at that cave to rescue a kidnapped child. The child was kidnapped by that orange Lizalfos you saw there. And then Prez is going to be taking that child all the way back to the mountain town of Darunia, which was mentioned earlier. By returning the child to his family, we get the Reflect spell, which is required to defeat the boss of Palace 4, a very, very angry, very, very big Wizrobe by the name of Karok.
Here's Prez's forest walk here.
Very good. He did a good
Very
job
good.
with it. And he gets the encounter skip straight away.
This is not what Acmlm
Right.
wants to see.
This is the spot where if ACM's going to catch up because of bad things happening to Prez, this would be it. He does get a missed encounter skip, and he is going back for it. Probably smart to do. Probably smart, because that's a tougher encounter to get through, a little bit more fault-prone, but he gets it the second time, and he's on into Reflect Down, so there's still an opportunity for monsters to troll Prez on the way back. In fact, that's an even harder manipulation to get. So we probably will see some encounters that way. We'll see how many, though. And now the jump.
Third try.
Up.
And 3.
Up.
There we
That's
go.
right. I need to be really on sync for that to play at all, so
Yep.
maybe I won't do that anymore.
Yeah, I don't want to mess with advancing the buffer because the hitbox stream doesn't seem
It's
to
rather
like that
temperamental.
too much. It's a bit more temperamental. Oh, ACM just runs for it.
Wow.
Right before the
Wow.
bridge there. Normally you'll see people go up one square into the desert, then back down again, and it's a nice, easy dodge that's got a pretty high success rate. But he was just hoping for a good spawn there, and he got it. Very lucky
I wonder
spawn.
if that was, maybe just a bit of a slip up or just something he doesn't know about, or if it was a conscious decision to start playing risky to make up time here.
Yeah, that's a good question. It could be any of those things, and we really don't have any indication what his intentions were.
It is a pretty big risk for not much gain, so I'm
It's a
Yeah.
very small time gain.
Yeah.
Not doing that one extra, or the 2 extra steps. That's pretty small. So let's see how he does this manipulation here. Let's see if he does standard stuff, the standard dazzle manipulation. No, he doesn't. He just runs for it. Oh,
again
dodge those-
don't know what he's doing. If this is by design, if there's method to this madness, or if it's just something he's not familiar with or not comfortable doing, hasn't learned, whatever. Either way, he does get one encounter, which is not bad when you're just going for it like that. And
Yeah.
he's not going to go for another attempt on the skip here.
Yeah, he didn't get it, so he's just going to move on. I probably would have gone back and tried this again.
See what he does for the second one.
Doesn't
Straight
even
in
stop.
as well.
Okay.
Not even bothering.
Could just be he's not really comfortable with, manipulating, or, well, it's not really manipulating. You're kind of just sitting there and hoping. But you do have to make a decision or two based off of how the monsters are moving, and maybe it's just something he's not comfortable with.
Well, Prez is having to make some decisions here. Oh, he was getting mobbed by mobs, and he ended
cornered
up in a encounter. So now let's see. Oh, he's going down to the grass. Is he going to do... Oh, I was wondering if he was going to go back in the cave and reset everything. But no, he's close enough to... Oh, I'm worried about right here, though. Yeah, wow, he got a lucky spawn right there. ACM not even going to take the...
Tried once and said forget about it.
Just said forget it. Well, if you feel like you're going to be doing so many attempts that it's not worth trying, then just cut and run.
Or it could just be a lack of practice thing. If you've only got so much time to practice, you're going to want to put that towards encounter skips and boss fights and tricky jumps. So something, yeah, sure, but so something like the Daruni super jump, which you might think at first is kind of finicky, and you might just say, nah, you know what, not worth my time. Gonna work on practicing other things here.
Yep. I mean, personally, I find it to be pretty reliable. I don't see, once you know where to jump from, I don't really see it taking more than 7 or 8 attempts, which is the break-even point. So, I'd say go for it, but certainly if you know that you just have, you're just terrible at doing it, then yeah, don't do it. Just know yourself and plan accordingly.
Welcome to Palace 4, everybody. This is the Maze Palace.
Yep.
No
Palace
jar.
4.
I guess he's not really looking for a jar, is he? Maybe he just wants to top up his life.
Yeah, that's one of those things where you don't need it, but if you get it there, you'll hit the top off button on your life. Absolutely.
Yeah, it could be that he wants experience, but I don't know. He would have gone back and fought the... Fought a
Right, so yeah, that was definitely a
one.
jar looking for there.
Yeah, I guess so. ACM not even trying for an encounter skip here. Just gonna go straight in. I usually see people taking it here. I've seen a few people encounter skip the first one, but then just go right into the second encounter instead of waiting around. Because that's a bit more marginal of a time gain to skip the second encounter.
Prez casting a lot of jump here, but he's going to pick up a magic level, refill all of that, and now he's got the magic he needs to cast jump in this sort of tricky lava bridge area. Without jump, you can't quite clear those flames at the top, so you need to break each one of them.
Really tricky.
Yeah. So he's going to pick up the key, and he's not even going to check for the jar. He's like, I'm good enough on magic. So he's out of there, but you can get a jar there. You can also opt to take a lava bath, and lava bath, lava
bath.
Lava lamp?
Yeah, we need a room that's called the lava lamp room.
Yeah,
Yes.
maybe something with like a bunch of bubbles bouncing around.
Well, maybe that room in the first required fairy room in P6.
Sure, call that one.
The lava
Call
lamp.
that one
All
the
right.
lava lamp room. Sounds good.
And then all the commentators can chirp up when they have to say lava. Lava, lava, lava.
The lava lamp?
Anyway, you can opt to jump into the lava and death warp back to the start of the room, refill your life and magic. But Prez is he's gonna rather hold on to those lives. He knows a game over here is the key thing that's gonna really close the gap here. He's kind of banking on his skill, bases what he knows of his opponent, and he's making the judgment call that game over is going to be the only thing I really have to worry about here. And so he's playing just to avoid that.
Yep, makes sense. ACM's gained a little bit of time here. He actually had very few encounters walking back from Reflect Town. Just a brazen disregard for the monsters. He did not stop anywhere. He just went for it. He dodged a bunch of encounters, and he got some really lucky back spawns. And it's just it was great to see. But he certainly is going to pick up some time because of that. He got, I think, one encounter. That's about it.
Maybe all of that rushing headlong into the mountain path encounters was a way of manipulating encounters to just sprint right for the bridge.
Maybe if he knows something that we don't.
Yeah,
perhaps.
Well, it's all about manipulating karmic forces.
Karmic forces, sure.
Meanwhile, while ACM was running for his life for a bridge and we were discussing the merits of lava lamps and lava baths, Prez picked up the Palace item here in Palace for the deliciously footy boots. Those allow Link to walk on water, shallow water specifically, but since this game doesn't give us a visual representation, you kind of have to guess.
Yep. Every water tile. Nope, 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 nope. Again and again and again. The children bumping up against all the waters of Hylia here. Hyrule.
Lake Hylia, that works.
Sure, yeah. That's probably why that came to me.
Meanwhile, ACM also opting to not take the first death abuse in the lava bridge room of death. So he's also doing the same thing. He also didn't choose to go after the jar there.
Yeah, I'm not sure what he's thinking.
Looks like based on though the amount of abuse he just took, he'll probably be taking the death abuse in the, or just Magic 4.
Or he'll just refill his magic and everything.
Yeah, or he'll just take Magic 4 and say, "Okay, TGE, enough, be quiet."
Yeah, not going to fairy for the boots though, so he's definitely trying to.
I think it may have been because he wanted that 200 bag, though.
Oh yeah, that too. Good point.
I'm not sure why he's concerned about experience now, though he stopped and killed those skeletons, which I thought wouldn't have been necessary. But he did, and he got the 200 bag, so maybe he's planning on taking another level up somewhere in here.
That would make a lot of sense. So far, he has gone out of his way to kill enemies for experience to get these extra level ups. That seems to be his MO here. So I would not be surprised if we see Life 5 in this palace.
Yeah, he might. Life 5. Magic 5 might be a bit much, but Life 5... Yep. Well, Prez takes the death. We saw that one coming because he was pretty low on magic, and this is your last opportunity to take a nice... Oh, wow, that was a close one there from ACM.
Yeah, well,
But that was a nice opportunity to take a death to get your magic refilled. That was his last chance to do it, so that makes sense.
and the reason Prez is doing that is because, as we mentioned earlier, casting Reflect is required to be able to kill the boss of Palace 4 here. So if you don't have enough magic going into it, you have to die and then do it again. So you might as well take the death, where it's going to save you a little bit of time on the backtrack.
Yeah, that's right. The backtracking saves a fair amount of time, so it's if you're going to take the death anywhere, that's where to do it.
Games Old School in chat was hoping to see some SGL, but unfortunately we're not doing SGL today. We're casting a Zelda 2 race here in the Zelda 2 100% all keys tournament. And we do other things other than SGL on this channel. That we for a long time it was just SGL, but Speed Gaming's gonna start branching out and trying to do some other things, and this is one of the things we're doing. So if hopefully stick around, hopefully we're entertaining, and hopefully Carrick doesn't kill PresJPolk.
Nope.
Manages to make it out okay. But yeah, the SGL match that was supposed to be today, unfortunately we had to postpone because of player availability, and we will be casting that on Tuesday evening. We'll have the SGL tournament match.
A nice little early holiday present.
Yeah, exactly. That'll be Dragon Dark versus Andy.
Yep, that'll be to decide who goes on to top 3 and who is eliminated in 4th place. Should be exciting. Prez here, skipping the heart container. Yep,
River Dance.
That's right, referring to a monster manipulation, overworld monster manipulation that he'll be doing after this palace is over. It involves getting that heart container after Palace 5 instead of before it. You could do it either way, it's just as fast either way to do it, but there are some reasons to do it afterwards, which you'll see in a bit. Now, there was a brand new strat here. Check this room out. I don't think Prez is going to do it. Yeah, he's casting Fairy, but we saw Simple Dude do it in a race earlier today. You can cast Jump right here, jump up, and then damage boost off of that skull bubble, and you can get up here without casting Fairy. And the advantage to that is you don't have to do this backtracking. The fairy cannot pick up the key, so you have to fly right past it, exit the screen, then come back to get this key. But with this jump strat, you can get boosted straight up, grab the key the first time around, and not do any backtracking at all, and even have some extra magic to work with. So it's a very cool strat, and I was so happy to see Simple using it already, which means that probably we're going to see the world record for this game improve, because that strat is apparently quite viable to do in real time.
Yeah, it was quite amazing to see on the race, because we ended up, Prez and I ended up coming over and broadcasting your race when there was some unfortunate key memory happenings on the Bad Breaks versus Svene race, which turned out into a dot forfeit. So instead of broadcasting just one person completing their run, we decided to come over and see you guys, and we got to see that on Restream, so it was amazing.
Just another example of the ever-evolving sort of speedrun community. Even long-established and rapidly growing communities like Zelda 2 are still chipping away and finding little things here and there. It's great to see.
Alright, well, speaking of chipping away, let's see if we can chip away at Carrick's health here. He was not far enough, or he was not close enough, rather, to get that first hit. That very first hit that you get as you approach Carrick there should be guaranteed.
Is that a perfect Carrick fight?
That was an almost yeah, it was basically, other than missing
Wow.
the first shot, it was a perfect Carrick fight. That was pretty impressive.
That's gonna save a lot of time.
Yeah,
Even
well,
that
with
initial...
no shield spell and 4 bars of health, it's not completely out of the picture for him to actually die there if Carrick decides to give him maybe the sort of luck that Prez had. But yeah, with luck like that, definitely no worries there. Prezier's already got attack 8, magic 3, life 4, and palace 5 here. He's doing really well. And I don't think he's going to try too hard to pick up a Mago kill here, but they are very juicy, 200 experience for only 2 hits to kill. They're just hard to track down. Acmlm, grabbing the heart container, not going to do the river dance manipulation here. So we're gonna see, what this situation looks like with and without an encounter manipulation.
Yeah, another advantage of doing that heart container afterwards is that, assuming you're doing a leveling strategy where you're going to be taking a magic level up after the palace, usually means you can cast Fairy right there for free to pick up that heart container just a little bit faster. So another advantage of doing the heart container later, but I think ACM may be concerned about safety and just wanting to have as many boxes of health as he can have. This right here, this screen ACM is on, this is the one we were talking about with that jump. So you would cast the jump spell, and you would wait around for just a moment until that skull bubble came back towards you, and you would jump up that vertical spot there and damage boost over onto the platform. It looks really cool. Keep an eye out, because I'm sure you'll see it at some point if you keep watching Zelda 2.
So Prez is, he got banged up a little bit. He's not looking too great on life and magic, and he did just get out of a really dangerous room, but I can't remember if you have to actually go back through it. I haven't been paying attention. But yeah, these Magos, if they, decide to throw fire in just the wrong place, and then one teleports on top of that and uses it to throw another fire, and it can get out of hand pretty quickly. So just keep an eye here. Grabs the potion hidden in the block, and he's going to be fine.
Yeah, definitely. Magos, while they seem like, these things are nice and easy, yeah, no, they can be completely trolly.
Block room goes, stabs right through that key once, twice. That's just how that key works. And this is some top tier play from the Falling Blocks here. Congrats to them.
I'm expecting we're going to see another level up from Prez at some point. He should be able to get up to 844 here. And still have enough experience. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe he won't. Just looking at, he's at 479 right now. Taking Magic 4, I don't know that he would have enough. So yeah, maybe we won't see another level up from him. He's going to have to make that decision pretty soon. ACM already at life 5, so he's going to need, is it 1500? I think he may need over 1500 at this, at the end of this boss.
Yeah, so he's definitely looking for some Mago kills.
Yeah, yeah, he's gonna need something. I don't think there's 1500 experience without some Mago kills.
Oh, well, he lands one hit there and opts not to stop and pick up the second hit.
Yeah, so right now, let's see if Prez takes a level. I don't think he will. He can't afford to take a level up. Yeah, he skips that magic level. So he's got magic 3 coming out of here. This is pretty unusual.
He was way ahead on experience and then just started skipping enemies like crazy, and just like that, he's a little behind now. He does have a big lead to show for it, though.
Yeah, and this 500 experience he's getting from Guma is useless because he's already over the threshold. So, not the most efficient use of experience management here, but maybe that doesn't matter. He's got so much of a lead, and I guess it doesn't really... Little stuff like that's not going to make a difference.
No, but we are going to see the river dance setup here coming up now. So what's going to happen here is there are 2 timers for encounters in this game. The first is a step counter, the second one is a timer. Now, by taking 2 extra steps coming here out of the heart container, as you just saw, Prez is going to sync both of them up. Now, by doing the correct walking bit here and stepping off the path right there, he despawns 1 encounter, gets the second one to spawn right there, and will have 0 encounters all the way to the river demon.
And let's see if he gets it. Let's see if he gets the fence skip, and he does. What a great... That's just a great setup. No encounters all the way to the river devil is what that setup, and also the timing of that next encounter that appears is just right, so that most of the time you're going to be able to get a nice clean fence skip. But this spot that you see him standing on right now, this little path encounter, is skipping what should have been a fixed encounter. It's a spiked square, if you will. You'll see right now Prez is going into another fence encounter. He skipped the first one of these, so look how long it takes him to get through this, and that's how much time he just saved there.
One Mago kill there for Acmlm, and another.
Hey, he's not bad.
All of a sudden he's looking pretty good on experience, but he is quite a bit behind here. And Prez's play, you know, he has a couple extra lives here to work with, but just on top of that, I'm not seeing any sign that he's going to make, you know, a game over type mistakes. His play has been really solid, really consistent. I think compared to his average, I think he's pretty much on PB pace.
Prez with a great walk through the forest there.
Yes, nice. That is very hard. There are no good manipulations there. Basically, you just need to pause buffer when enemies spawn and try to figure out which way they're going and how you can squeeze through. So, nice job by PresJPolk getting through there.
Meanwhile, ACM going upstabbing jackhammer on all of the blocks.
Yeah, break them all.
Working out the frustration.
Trying to make sure that Guma doesn't get his deposit back on this palace.
Yeah, pretty much. Prez getting the color glitch there, the palette glitch there by casting the spell and talking at the same time.
Neat. Fun little glitch. ACM goes back for this red jar. I've seen a lot of people save this red jar for last, even though it involves a little bit of backtracking. I don't really feel like the rooms in between, that room down in the lower left where you get the key, is all that dangerous, so I would just say get that jar on the way in. But, you know, it's a race. I'm not going to fault people for being safe about things. Alright, we got shield and jump from ACM here. He can still afford to cast life if he needs it, but the jump spell is a nice, safe way of fighting this guy. You can just jump right over that mace. And there we go, Guma's down with no problem at all.
Nice little upstab pose for Prez in New Kasuto as he casts the spell spell to cause this shrine to appear. The spell called Spell does two things. One, it causes that shrine to appear, which houses the magic key. And two, it will turn enemies into adorable little danger spots.
Yeah, there's very little reason why you would want to turn enemies into bots, but there are some helpful situations I'm sure we'll see later. Meanwhile, here is Acmlm making his way to the River Demon without the manipulation, and you can see there how it is quite hard.
Yeah, that's much harder to do. He had to deal with 2 sets of enemies instead of 1. That's the nice thing about the River Dance manipulation. Also, getting an encounter where he did meant that as he was approaching the spot where he would want to do the fence skip, he didn't even have any enemies spawning that he could work with. So lots of reasons to learn that manipulation if you're new to Zelda 2. Not hard to do. You just watch the path that somebody who's doing that trick does, and just take that exact same path. It's as easy as what you see in the video.
Okay, that explains what we have here. All of that extra leveling up because ACM is an 887 level guy.
887. Okay.
Yep. So all that extra experience we saw was to allow him to get to 887, because he'll more than likely be doing some experience to get to 9,000 coming out of Palette 6, and he'll get to Magic 7 and then be 500 away from Magic 8.
So it's pretty similar to the strats that people who do 886 use, except he's just having an extra life level for these last 2 palaces here. Oh, Prez gets a nice favorable spawn, and oh, he had another pretty good spawn but wasn't able to finish out that area, so he might even get yet another encounter on the way to this heart.
Yeah, unfortunately he had to dodge left there, out of the way towards this last heart container, but he's got it now, doing the manipulation to get into the palace cleanly.
And he gets it. ACM is just charging right in the forest here.
As he's been doing
As he's been doing the whole time, but except this time he's not getting the luck. And hold on a second. Oh, there we go.
Palace 6, the Hidden Palace.
So this palace is different than the others in that it does not have keys that you pick up. It still has keys from the boss and mini bosses, but it doesn't have like normal keys. There's still doors all over the place, but it's assumed that at this point you'll have the magic key.
Ooh, Prez falling down the infinite floor.
He's face palming pretty hard
cast,
right there.
Yeah, opting to not cast jump to guarantee it, trying to get max walking speed to do it, and missed.
Yep, that's a 4-block gap. 4 blocks wide is the maximum that you can jump, and you gotta go right at the very edge there. Even the best of us will sometimes fall into that pit. Not at all a reference to what happened in my race earlier today.
Nope, not at all.
But the nice thing about it is that's an infinite loop there. There's 4 screens that you fall through, so if you fall down, just fall down 3 more times and you're right back where you started. So it's not the worst of the pits to fall in. There's some much worse pits in this.
Like the one coming up in the next room?
Yes, which hopefully we won't see, but we might, because we've seen it a lot in these races.
He does got lots of magic here. There it is, jump spell cast.
Jump spell cast, and that's going to help him so he doesn't fall in this. All right there he's got to jump, and there's a 4-block gap that you can't see. It looks like it's a solid floor, but it's not. This game is trying to trick you. You'll fall in there and be taken down to a drain part of the level, and you'll have to make your way all the way back up to there again. It's a devastating thing to happen in a speedrun.
Prez going for the quick kill on Ribbonac. Once you have attack 8, you open up some new ways to fight him that are quite a bit faster and a little bolder, I think. So he lines up right near the edge of the screen there and goes for it. Misses it a little bit, but cleans up very nicely.
Yep, that was still a pretty fast Ribbonac kill. It wasn't the quick kill in the textbook definition of it, but it was still a better than average fight. So he can be happy with that, I think. Does get a red jar on the way back. This is good. He can also cast Fairy if he wants to. Yeah, you got enough, buddy.
Well, you got to pick up the jar first.
Oh no!
And now, to get rid of Fairy, you have to leave the screen, which gets rid of the jar.
He's facepalmed again.
He can go back and try again for the jar, but
he could.
He's not gonna. He just wants to move on. He's shrugging his shoulders.
Yeah.
He's hoping that he's given himself enough of a lead here that he can get away with this kind of stuff.
I didn't see how many lives he saved up, but he's probably going to have to take a death. You need a certain amount of magic to get through this. He's going to have to cast the fairy spell 2 more times, and if he wants an efficient Barba fight, he'll have to cast jump. So that's going to be about more than half of his magic bar. It needs to get filled back up again somewhere. Is this some sort of setup for a ceiling walk? What's he doing?
It was.
He didn't get
it. Oh, I didn't get it. Darn.
That's interesting setup there. Let's see how ACM does in this area. Oh, he just charges right in.
I'm not surprised by hearing that. ACM charging right in.
Charging right in. Let's see. There's one more set of encounters. Let's see if he'll charge right in. He does.
Yep.
Well, the good news is he took that encounter close enough that he should have no problems getting to the heart container. I wonder if he knows the manipulation to get to Palace 6 from here. Oh, he's making strats.
He knows it.
Up.
He's not doing it.
He's not doing it.
Yep, Prez taking a death in the lava lamp.
Yep, taking a death in the lava lamp. There you go.
That's called lighting the lava lamp.
Yes! Oh, yes!
He lit up the lava lamp. I like it.
Oh, so that's the new term for taking the intentional death in this room. Lighting the lava lamp. Wow.
So it's at this point, even like it's gonna take a game over and probably more. I think for AC. I mean, you can get a game over in a really bad spot in Valley of Death, but Prez has given himself a huge lead here. And even though I was saying earlier how his play was looking really solid and the consistency and all that, but he is sort of coming apart here a little bit in this palace. So, I mean, even if that continues and things go crazy, I think he's still earned himself enough of a cushion here that he can ride it out to the end.
Yep, there's the final cast of Fairy, so he's going into the Barba fight. Let's just watch ACM screen for a moment here to make sure he doesn't fall in. Good, he's okay. And now let's see what happens at Barba.
The fire camping him out.
He's going to jackhammer, isn't he?
Nope.
Here he goes.
No, he's not. He's not.
But
Oh,
he's gonna
just barely.
Ooh, just tags him there, yeah. It's hard to get 2 hits while standing on the ground, but it is possible, as you just saw. So
Yep.
that difference between a 1 cycle and a 2 cycle there, nice job, Prez.
And meanwhile, ACM had a pretty decent Rubenak fight. He was using strats similar to the Palace 3 Rubenak strats, which you do it differently in Palace 3 versus Palace 6 because of the difference in attack level. Here he's attack 8, so you can actually kill him in other ways, but Palace 3 strat works on any of the Rubenaks, even though it's not necessarily the fastest way. He ended up doing that fight faster than Prez did.
He does not get a jar, but he's going to come out of this room with significantly more magic than Prez did.
Yeah, he is... I think he still doesn't have enough magic to cast Fairy twice plus jump. Especially not if he has to cast jump to get himself out of that little pickle there. So... now he's gonna have to do something to fix his magic situation. He doesn't have enough to cast Fairy twice.
No, but he could always cast jump in the infinite pit and try and get the jar there.
Mm-hmm. He can. The only problem is if you do it wrong, you've just spent your... I mean, not do it wrong. If you get the wrong frame, rather, it's not really up to you. If you get the wrong frame, you just wasted jump. See right there, you cast jump and you didn't get anything out of it. He has the alternative of falling several more times and going after that jar again, but I don't think he's going to.
And I don't think he wants to play around with taking Magic 7 here.
Some people do that. I don't know. I don't think that he's going to want to stray from his normal strategy. From what I've seen,
he's gone to great lengths to stick to it so far.
Yeah.
And I do know the match that he lost to get down to the bonus bracket was because he ended up with Magic 7 going into Great Palace, and he just didn't know what to do. So he got to Thunderbird, and he wasn't sure, what spells he could cast, and it threw him off a lot. So I really don't expect him to do something like that here.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. Yeah, and as I've said before in the stream, sometimes the fastest strat is just the one that you know. You there may be something better. In a race, go with something that you're familiar with.
Absolutely. Yep. A race is not the time to be making up new things on the spot unless you absolutely have to.
Yeah, right. You don't want to do stuff you're not comfortable with yet in a race. Prez having a little trouble getting one of those encounters, so that's going to set him back a bit, but I think he's still doing fine in terms of his magic and his life. Oh, watch out, Coconut.
ACM is not... Oh, he's taking a death on Revenak. Okay.
Oh, that's intentional.
Yeah, not the
Interesting.
fastest kill.
I don't know that there's a faster way to die around here.
No, not very good. Like he could do it before he had to cast Fairy to get over the, in the lava lamp, I guess.
Yeah,
Or after.
Just reading because his chat popped up that I saw there. He said that he wanted to take the 1-up and then die, but he needed to be able to cast Jump to get that and didn't have enough magic for Jump.
Yeah, typically if you want to take a death here, you either do it before the lava lamp room or you do it after the lava lamp room and just backtrack into it and drop in from the right side. That's the fastest place to take intentional deaths here. But I guess he had to do some decision making on the fly, and it wasn't clear to him that he needed that at that time.
Yeah. Although, getting gored to death by my little Rebenak is a close second.
Alright,
It's true. I've never really seen him
I saw
not
hesitation.
get off the horse. Oh, did he get it? You need to not stop at all as you enter this room in order to get Barba to spawn here. So whether he did get the manipulation or not, going for the uppercut there,
It's
popping him on the chin.
Yeah, he's doing uppercut strats are usually, or the upstab strats are usually what you do if you don't have enough for jump, but he had jump there. Just what he's comfortable with.
Yeah, ACM seems to be a player that, has learned a couple things his way for the sake of the tournament. Just while you're learning these things, certain things come to you more easily than other things, and you just figure, well, I'll just do it this way. So he's got a couple strats here that are sort of his own, and he's going to come into this race and do the best he can with them.
But yeah, he had a bit of a hesitation there as he was entering Barba's room, it looked like. And the trick to getting Barba to always spawn on the right is you have to not stop the screen from scrolling. It's on a timer that begins when you enter the screen, and you need to go over there and trigger Barba at the earliest possible frame, and it'll guarantee he'll appear on the right. And I thought I saw a bit of hesitation there, so I think it was just luck that Barba spawned in the spot that he was expecting.
Meanwhile, over on Prez's stream, welcome to the Great Palace, everybody.
Yeah, he stopped there to fight a spicy chicken, even though there's no way the experience is going to help him. So I can only assume he's just more comfortable killing it than jumping over it, especially while he's already very early into the palace here. Lost 3 blocks of life and 3 blocks of magic.
And he's already taken Magic 8 back in the Valley of Death, so he doesn't even have the Magic 8 refill coming.
He's going to need at least a death here, or maybe a scary trip to a ferry or something, maybe. The 1-up is an option too, but it's very, very risky. You have to play it rather safe and eat up a bunch of time, but he does have a lot of time, so he'd probably be okay. Plus, I think he still has the lives necessary to go through here as fast as possible if he wants to play it just a little bit risky.
I think that he does still have a life. If I were him, though, I would just go after red jars all day. Just keep going after red jars and not spend that life. I might even get the extra 1-up just to be on the safe side. Well, we saw ACM there duck into a fixed spot, a fixed encounter that lets you get a red jar. So now he's all filled up again. And I didn't see what his magic total was before, but he may have been able to do an overflow cast of fairy there. I didn't see how much he had left over when he got the jar.
I did not either.
Yeah, when you get a red jar, it fills up, it's the number of boxes of magic you have, that's how much it gives you. So if you already have a little bit of magic left over, you can cast some stuff while the red jar is filling your magic gauge up, and you'll end up using the leftover magic that you had. Yeah, Prez going back for the jar. You'll end up using whatever leftover magic you had. So we call that an overflow cast, or at least I do. And you can even have that transfer to the next screen, so you can do that through a screen transition and get a free cast of fairy on the next screen. Prez dealing with Beakula pretty well here. He makes the first try jump up there to the 6th block.
Is that called the quantum leap when you get that the jump up to the 5th block?
It is now.
Okay.
Yep.
That's the
Alright.
quantum leap.
Nice.
That's how naming things works, by the way.
Yep,
Just
someone
say
comes
it,
up with a great name.
and then
Although I'm
that's how it is
honestly
now, so.
not sure whose quantum leap was better there today. Prez's or yours, Fiesel, because both of those rooms were super smooth.
That room, for some reason, I don't mess up as much as basically anything else. I'm likely to screw up everything else in the Great Palace, but for some reason that room usually goes fine for me. Prez here, getting chased down a little bit. He'll be taking a bit of damage, but he has so much health that he's
Skull
fine.
bubble into the ground.
Yeah, that'll happen sometimes. I don't even know why that happens there. I don't know. ACM really close to getting Magic 8. You'll see that he's at 5982 out of 6,000. That's done intentionally. He saved a little bit of the experience from Palace 6 so that he can take Magic 8 pretty soon. He's going to have to not kill anything, though. 598.
With the magic refill, he can probably ferry over a couple things.
Like
Yeah,
this
if I were
spicy
him,
chicken.
I would ferry over everything now. Ferry over this guy and the next one, and cast jump over the spicy chickens that aren't on steps. Prez taking an intentional death in the lava room, I think. Yep.
Yes.
So that's the usual spot for taking a death if you're going to do it somewhere in here. With the amount of experience that ACM has, though, he might not need to take a death at all in here.
Meanwhile, Prez making his way up to Thunderbird. At Magic 8, he's able to cast Shield, which will increase his defense. Jump, which allows him to hit Thunderbird a lot easier. Reflect, which will shrink Link's hitbox. And most importantly, the Thunder Spell, which makes Thunderbird actually vulnerable to damage. And speaking of being vulnerable to damage, that was fast.
Yep. Casual 2-cycle there from Prez. I definitely saw at least 1 or 2 double hits there. Very tricky to land those. You have to wiggle left and right on the D-pad as fast as you can. The sort of frantic nature of it has earned it the name the panicked dolphin, but some players have managed to tame that beast, and as such they can unleash the controlled dolphin.
Yeah, the controlled dolphin.
Yep.
Alright, let's see what Dark Link fight looks like here. Prez is in great shape, so I'm not anticipating a death here, but we'll see. Ooh, ACM getting trolled by this Bird Knight here, though. Prez is having a little bit of trouble getting Dark Link to cooperate. This is a pretty slow Dark Link fight. He's moving away from the wall because he's getting frustrated. Alright, there we go.
There we go.
So he's improved his race best, I believe, by a whole minute and 42 seconds. But I don't know how long he's been using these splits.
The splits that he's showing on his screen are not his PB splits, because
Yeah,
his
there's
PB is
something
a
else.
119.17, but I think his splits are saying 121.25, so...
2 minutes behind your PB is pretty good. Nice job, Prez.
Oh yeah, I don't, what was his PB, though?
We posted it earlier, I think.
Yeah, the PB that was on his
119.30
splits is not his actual PB, so I just was wondering what his splits were saying. Well, whatever, so... Got ACM going through the Becula room there.
Very
Fine with
nice.
it.
Oh, those are his dark route splits.
Ah, I see.
So for that route, that is the fastest by far that he's ever done that. It's nice to pull that out in a race.
It's always nice to pull the PBs out in a race.
What is
another
ACM
bad
gonna
pattern.
do here? Yeah, just gets bum rushed there.
He's getting bad patterns from all these things. That's terrible.
He was ready with the shield spell though. He was like, "This, I know what happens here. Yeah, so I'm gonna need this."
Yeah, shield is one of those things where you have to know in advance when to use it, otherwise it's a completely useless spell. But yeah, he knew that room would do it. He's also really low on magic, so he's gonna have to take a death somewhere. I think he's still got an extra life. He
Yeah.
passed by the 1-up and passed by the fairy there, so I assume he's just gonna jump into the lava here.
Makes sense.
Yep, I think he's got everything under control here. And so his PB is it's a 123.09. So he's like Prez, he's playing about 2 minutes behind his personal best here.
Which for a race is pretty normal, especially people who have good times that aren't, constantly improving it every time they do a run. We're seeing in these races people being a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes plus on their PB.
Yep, over the course of an hour and 20 minutes, there's a lot that Zelda 2 can do to bring that time up, I guess, not down.
Gets an early hit, that's cool. Good to see him going for that. He's using jump at this boss. We see a lot of people who use timid strats and other places will use extremely timid strats at this at Thunderbird, so...
That's right, and he has no reason to really go all out here. He probably knows he's already lost here, so... But that's the way he knows it, and that's the way he's going to do it, and he does it pretty good there. I think it was a 3-cycle, yeah. He was moving very gracefully, I thought. He wasn't going for all those hits, but he was weaving in and out of the fireballs really cleanly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was a very aesthetically pleasing fight.
Yeah.
That's what we're going for.
That's the best you can hope for at this point, I guess.
Well,
Yep.
yeah, it's true. You want to make a good-looking run if you can't make one that wins.
Right. It's the rule of cool. If it's not going to be effective, it might as well look good.
Looks like Dark Link is being kind of uncooperative. Oh, that
Yeah.
wasn't too bad. That's not the
No,
worst
not
Dark
at all.
Link fight.
No, not at all.
It's not even the worst Dark Link fight we've seen this race.
And that is Acmlm's new race best time, I believe, by over a minute.
Nice. Well done. I mean, both players managed to really hold it together pretty well. I mean, I was a little concerned at some point when there were some accidental deaths, so we might see a game over, but really we didn't end up seeing either of these players in a lives crunch here. Really
no
solid
one-
run from Prez. I think he certainly deserved the win this time. He played really close to his optimum. I was impressed with it. He did the Dark Death Mountain, which we were talking about being a little bit slower and harder to do, so he even pulled off that and was ahead by the time he came out of Death Mountain.
Yeah, and he just kind of pulled further and further away. Very consistent play. Started to come apart a little bit in Palace 6, but he shook that off and rallied and finished really strong. So both players, not really backed into a corner. Both racers able to play the game the way they wanted to, and I think that counts for a lot in these races.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
All right, so that